welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This, Election Day edition, I guess. I'm Juliet the daughter.
That must make me Kevin the dad.
Happy Election Day. And if you need to decompress with all the political news going on, well, folks, we got a new podcast episode for you, and we are talking about the Bangles. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
Well, the album that we'll be discussing is, ladies and gentlemen, The Bangles.
Yay.
Three mainstays of the Bangles are guitarist-vocalist Susanna Hoffs, born January 17th, 1959 in Los Angeles, guitarist-vocalist Vicki Peterson, born January 11th, 1958 in Los Angeles, and drummer-vocalist Debbie Peterson, born August 22nd, 1961, probably in LA too. They've had two bass players, Annette Zielinskis and Michael Steele. Hoffs and the Petersons had been in various bands before coming together in 1980. This resulted from two ads placed in the LA Weekly, The Recycler. Hoffs placed one, and Annette Zielinskis responded. Lynn Elkine, the Petersons' housemate, placed the other. When Hoffs called Vicki Peterson answered the phone, and it turned out Susanna and Vicki had a lot in common. Eventually, Susanna talked to Lynn Elkine, but they didn't have that much in common. So, Hoffs and the Petersons formed a band. They first called themselves The Colours, with a U. Very British.
Very British.
Mm-hmm. They then called themselves the Supersonic Bangs, which may have lasted a minute, and then the Bangs. They were part of LA's Paisley underground scene in which bands incorporated psychedelia and vocal harmonies. They were influenced by such 60s bands as Love and the Boyds. Okay, the Birds. In 1981, the Bangs released their first single, Getting Out of Hand, backed with Call Me, on their own Down Kitty Records label. Miles Copeland, yep, Stewart's brother, signed them to his label Faulty Products, which lived up to its name as Faulty Folded soon after the Bangs released their EP.
Ouch.
But before the release, they had to change their name. There was already a band called the Bangs, and they wanted compensation. So, they changed their name to Bangles. No the, like, God help us, Eagles. IRS Records picked up the EP and re-released it on their label. Annette Zielinskis left in 1983 to form the cowpunk band Blood on the Saddle.
I'm sorry, cowpunk?
Cowpunk.
Like country meets punk?
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Good?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Huh.
So her band was called Blood on the Saddle, which I like to think was inspired by Disney's Country Bear Jamboree. Because of, was it the bear Big Al?
Yeah.
And he sings that song about blood on the
saddle. Yeah.
Yeah. Enter Michael Steele, born June 2nd, 1955, Pasadena. She had already been in a number of bands, including the Runaways, before their recording career began. Tony and the Movers, Slow Children, and one of my all-time favorite band names, I kid you not, Elton Duck.
What's... okay.
I just love the sound of that name.
All right, well, I'm glad you like it.
They had an album that was supposed to come out like late 70s, early 80s, and it finally got released in 2012.
Was it any good?
Not bad.
Huh.
Not bad. I heard some of it online. Anyway, the Bangles signed with Columbia Records. Their debut all over the place came out in May 1984. Susanna, Vicki, and Debbie sang leads on the songs. Michael sang background vocals. But on tour, she'd sing lead on the band's cover of the Yardbirds version of Mose Allison's I'm Not Talking.
That's a lot of covers. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Now, when I saw the Bangles first at the Living Room back in 1984, and Michael stepped to the mic and sang that song, I was just stunned. I was like, wow, she can sing. She's got a good voice. Why didn't she sing on this first album? Anyway, aside from the two covers, Live and Going Down to Liverpool, Vicki Peterson wrote, or co-wrote with Susanna Hoffs, the other 9 songs. The band hit the road opening for Cyndi Lauper and Huey Lewis.
Whoa.
The album did well on college radio, and they got more publicity when Leonard Nimoy, a friend of the Hoffs family, appeared in the Going Down to Liverpool video. He plays the chauffeur.
Really?
Check it out online. Yep.
I might, yeah.
And then Prince. He gave them the song Manic Monday.
Yep.
It hit number 2 on the Billboard chart, only to be stopped by Prince's own song, Kiss, which was #1.
Oh, now, is there a reason why that song isn't on this compilation? We gonna get into that?
Oh, that was after, like, all these songs are...
Oh, from a certain...
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
okay,
get to that.
okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow, well, Prince is dominating the charts in 2 ways.
And Kiss is just... It's probably my favorite song by him. I love that song so much.
I remember, though, hearing Manic Monday on the school bus when I was a kid. And Debbie singing along on the ride home from EP.
Was it on a Monday? I hope.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the band's second album, Different Light, came out on January 2nd, 1986, and hit #2 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. The huge hit was Walk Like an Egyptian, which spent 4 weeks at #1 and was Billboard's #1 song of 1987.
Are you Casey Kasem?
I am Casey Kasem, the ghost thereof. Ooh. Anyway, then, of course, Travelers.
Oh, no.
The big hit singles, excluding Walking Down Your Street, were written by people outside the band.
Uh-oh.
A drum machine was used on Walk Like an Egyptian instead of Debbie playing on it.
Boo.
And producer David Kahne was too controlling. Michael Steele jokingly said she was the only one who wasn't overdubbed because Kahne ran out of money. And she also had the album's best song, Following. Their next album's title said it all, everything. They wrote or co-wrote all the songs and had more of a say in the making of the album with producer David Sigerson.
Did it do better?
Well, the first single, In Your Room, hit #5. The second, Eternal Flame, hit #1. Be With You made it to #30, but I'll Set You Free didn't chart in the top 40.
Oh, yeah. Eternal Flame was featured in an episode of Lucifer once where the devil decides he's going to sing music. He's like, you don't know what it is at first, but he's like, all right, well, the girl I like really likes this band, even though I don't like them, so I'm going to sing the music to get her back. And he sings Eternal Flame by the Bangles.
Oh, I got to check that out,
the
episode.
Yep, Google Lucifer singing Eternal Flame. It's a pretty good cover. Tom Ellis does a good job.
Huh. Okay, so the band called it a day in 1989 due to, among other things, the media singling out Susanna Hoffs as the band's lead singer when all 4 of them sang.
Yeah.
Susanna started a solo career. Vicky joined the Continental Drifters, featuring Newport, Rhode Island's own Susan Cowsill. Vicky would go on to marry Sue's brother John, and there's your Bangles, Rhode Island connection. Debbie had her own band, Kindred Spirit. And leap ahead to 1998, and the band started drifting back together. They recorded the song for Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Oh, really?
Because Susanna's husband, Jay Roach, directed the movie.
Ah.
Their comeback album, Doll Revolution, came out in September 2003. Michael Steele left in 2005. Susanna, Vicky, and Debbie put out Sweethearts of the Sun in 2011, and Annette Zelinskis rejoined in 2018. And check out thebangles.com for more info. And they've been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since 2006.
Now, as for you, how'd you first hear them?
As for me, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version.
Oh.
Okay, I remember reading a review of the EP Bangles back in 1982 in Rolling Stone, but I kept it in the back of my mind because I couldn't find it anywhere around here.
Really? Why?
Because I would not be aware of Newberry Comics' existence until 1985. And that was back when the stores were only in the Boston area.
Oh, they hadn't left or spread across all New England yet. Okay.
No, not really. They had a few locations in Massachusetts, and that was it. I heard Hero Takes a Fall on WBRU back in 1984 and was hooked, and it was a lot easier to find the major label debut.
R.I.P. WBRU. We gotta say that every time.
I joined their fan club, Bangles and Mash, which is how I met Peg. They had a pen pal thing that you could, do. And
Peg, tell us how you first learned about the Bangles in the comments.
And so this is back in 1987, and 35 years later, we're still at it. I saw the Bangles 7 times.
Whoa!
I have a ton of their vinyl. You can go through it all after, including their first single, some bootlegs. What? Bootlegs? What?
There's some pirates out on these seas.
Appearances on compilations. A lot of imports, you name it, I probably have it.
How did you see them 7 times?
Well, they came to different places over the course of the career. And
was it all in Rhode Island or Rhode Island and Massachusetts or?
Rhode Island, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah. a couple of shows in Boston, Great Woods,
The Civic Center?
Rhode Island ones. No, not the Civic Center. It came close. They were supposed to open, I think, for Mr. Mister. I thought, well, okay, I'll go to see them and then I'll leave before Mr. Mister comes on. But the show got canceled for some reason. So, but yeah, I saw them at the Living Room. Oh my God, it's been so long. I just cannot remember all the places. I would have to go and see if I've got all the ticket stubs.
And to be fair, a lot of those places don't exist anymore.
They probably don't.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh, I still have a Christmas cassette that they made for fan club members back. It was either back in '84 or '85, just like the Beatles used to do with their fan club,
yeah.
where they would make the Christmas record.
I wonder if Peg still has hers.
I don't know. Peg, do you still have yours? Let us know. And okay, I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
I might live to regret it.
Okay,
And
well, let her rip.
listeners might get all over me, but
Buckle your seatbelts.
Susanna is Paul, Vicky is John, Michael is George, and Debbie, by default, Ringo.
Fans, do with that what you will.
Yep. As for, ladies and gentlemen, the Bangles, this was first available on digital format only, so I bought it from iTunes. Then it came out on CD in November of 2014, so I bought that too. And this collects their material before they signed with Columbia Records, which is why Manic Monday isn't on it.
Okay, gotcha.
This is like all the hard-to-find stuff.
Okay.
And so, let's dive in.
First song, Bitchin' Summer / Speedway.
Language.
Interesting how they misspelled bitchin' intentionally.
No, that's like the California thing, like, oh, that's so bitchin', like, that's so cool.
Well, but bitchin' is, I always spell it with I-N instead of E-N.
I guess either way is acceptable.
Okay.
I guess with Ian, it's less sweary.
Oh, I guess. Well, it's all fun and games until there's an explosion. I think if I had to sum up the music in one sentence, it would be girl version of Los Straitjackets or The Ventures.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was worried that I found the wrong track because I was frantically Googling lyrics and nothing was coming up. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting, I don't know, a poppy girl group like based on your taste in music, maybe almost like an American Pipettes, just based on the album cover that you had for this. But I was pleasantly surprised. My big concern, though, at the time, I thought, I don't want this album to be the same thing over and over. Because I like beach rock and like music like The Ventures and Los Straitjackets and Doses, not an entire album, with the exception of the Los Straitjackets Christmas album, which we'll cover on the show eventually. But anyway, we'll see how the rest of this album goes.
Okay, so this nugget came from Rodney on the Rock, Volume 3, which I have the vinyl. And this is from where the album that we're reviewing gets its title, because it starts off, ladies and gentlemen, the Bangs, as opposed to the Bangles, because they were still the Bangs at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, this is quite the kick-ass surf instrumental. It's not what you would expect from them.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I heard this, I was stunned. I couldn't believe it was the Bangles, the Bangs.
Whatever.
You know. Why it has two titles, I don't know. But
Just felt like it, maybe.
it's a great, great surf instrumental.
Next track, Getting Out of Hand. The lead singer reminds me of someone with her voice, but I can't think of who.
Okay, this is Susanna Hoff's on
Okay.
lead.
It never came to me. I never figured it out. And for some reason, I was thinking to myself, I can hear these girls singing music from Schoolhouse Rock.
I can sort of see that.
Because this song gave me a granola hippie vibe with their voice that I thought that they could use. Anyway, a man is looking for his girl, and she's avoiding him on purpose because he's not in love with her. He's in love with someone else. And in order to avoid falling for his lies and preventing him from getting out of hand, she is ghosting him, which I have to say shows some great self-awareness. I can't control myself around him because I still have a thing for him, so I will make the conscious decision to not engage. And the backup singers here sound like her inner voices validating her decisions. This is a song where you nod in approval, if not fully rock out to a breakup anthem. Very proud of her inner choices.
Now this and the next song made up their first single. Catchy song, clean sound, and the first flowering of the band's harmonies. And Annette gets quite funky on the bass. Now, lyrically, to me, I thought there were like a couple of different points of view on this. Like, I thought, okay, maybe she's singing to the guy, or maybe she's singing to the other woman. I don't know. But essentially, like you said, some guy is two-timing Susanna and possibly a friend of hers. Who's the other one that he may or may not be seeing?
I don't know.
It kind of seemed like a juggling act.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as for getting out of hand, is one of them going to make the guy wish he'd never been born?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of the dominating theme of their first long player all over the place. Do not screw me over or you will regret it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a nice starting point.
Next track, Call on Me. Okay, so this time it's beach rock with a country twang. It's very fast-paced, almost with the same pace as a punk rock song, but I appreciate how they're not wasting my time. I can't tell if the singer is taunting this poor guy or not, mostly due to the music being so joyful that juxtaposed with the lyrics, you're kind of thrown off if you don't pay attention. I want to see a version of this where he calls on her when he's down and she makes him feel more miserable. I think that would be hilarious. This album keeps surprising me the more and more I listen to it. Pleasantly so.
Huh. Okay, I'm going to say it. Beatlesque AF.
I'd have to go back and listen to it again.
Please do. Early Beatles.
There was one that did remind me of the Beatles, but I forget which one it was.
Oh, we'll get to that one later.
Oh, okay.
I can totally imagine John singing lead on this. As for Paul, he gave them honorary rock and roll degrees from his Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts back in 2004. And the thing was, when I listened to this song again, I've heard it so many times, but I hadn't heard it in a while, and I just forgot how catchy this song was. This should have been the A-side, I think. And for me, it was like lyrically straightforward. I don't think there were any games being played. It was like, if you're feeling down, call on them. They'll cheer you up.
But you could always
kind of like a friend thing, I think.
You could always look at it from the other angle too, though, and that makes it interesting.
I didn't. You know why? Because I'm innocent and optimistic, and I'm just dancing through fields of flowers.
Oh, sure, you're as serene as a Buddha floating on a lily pad.
Oh, yeah, that's me all over. Like, I better not fall in. Am I going to fall in?
Spoiler alert, he fell in. Next
did.
track, The Real World. This feels like a contemporary love song that could come out today because of how realistic it is. When you first meet the love of your life, you don't really notice them, and while it's not the fairy tale we were led to believe it would be, it's different. Nothing that is less than that. Nothing that is outshined. You know, it's not the romanticized fairy tale like kids grow up believing they're going to get one day, but you're like, oh, this is better. And what makes it awesome is that this guy never brings her down. And in this real world, which is often unkind and unfair, she knows she wants to be with him because it makes life worth living. And with some uplifting lyrics and kick-ass drums, we have a truly wonderful and surprisingly uplifting song. The end.
This and the next 4 songs made up the Bangles EP. And I have it on vinyl, both the Faulty Products version, which is I couldn't believe I found.
What's Faulty Products?
That was Miles Copeland's label that went out of business as soon as they signed them.
Because they're faulty.
Yeah, I couldn't believe I found that one. And I also have the IRS version as well, which was the one I got first. But when I saw the Faulty Products one, I was like, grab it. And these 5 songs are the big reason that I got this album, because the EP was never available on CD other than, get this, for a while there was something called a mini CD. This one only had three songs on it, which I have that too. Now, the mini CD was supposed to be like a single, so since a 45 is only 7 inches,
right,
a standard size CD is 5 inches,
right.
So a single CD, someone decided, hey, let's make that 3 inches wide as opposed to 5 inches wide.
Could it still be played in a regular CD player?
If you had a mini CD player that had the spindle in the middle, you could just pop it in and it would play.
Oh my God.
But if you had like a component one, which was the very first one I ever bought, it's the draw CD. So the draw slides open. You're like, what the hell? So, but what happened was you had to buy a plastic adapter ring that would convert the mini CD into a standard size.
This hurts my head.
So you had to like try to be able to snap in the mini CD without breaking it.
That sounds horrible.
And trying to get it on the edges. It was a pain in the posteriority.
Who the hell thought that was a good idea?
I don't know, but I hope they got fired. But like I said, once the portable CD came out, where you could just had the spindle in the middle, you could pop it in and play it, no problem.
That just sounds like a headache and a half.
Oh,
my God,
it
I'm so sorry. I'm glad I didn't grow up with that.
And the other thing with the mini CD, like I said, it had 3 songs instead of the 5 songs that made up the EP.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was remixed, which I thought, oh, you've got to be kidding.
Oh.
But anyway, great start. Debbie thunders in and we're off. Susanna's got her guy. He's great. She sings about how when she was a little girl, she wanted everything ideal and love she could depend on. But in the real world, she believes, well, her love is still real and it's the only thing she's counting on. No pressure there.
Mm.
But the thing that got me, and I do agree with your points, I can definitely see them where it's like, hey, yeah, this is the real world, but, things are still pretty good. The thing that got me was like, this is the real world. I really want to be a girl. And it hit me. Does that mean she wants to go back to being that little girl who wanted and thought of everything being ideal? Or...
Is she transitioning away from that?
Yeah.
I looked at it as transitioning away.
Okay. But catchy song and the harmonies, they're just really getting so much better and better with them.
Next track, I'm in Line. This is a better version of, from our last episode, Rubber Ball, where a guy is standing in line waiting for the girl he loves. But this girl isn't taking any BS. She's warning him, don't make me stand in line because I will, but I don't want to waste my time and get hurt. There is an undercurrent of pissed and irritation that is emphasized with the guitar playing those sharp chords in the song. And then there's the snare drums that punctuate it. I really love this song. It's got a drive to it that I love to listen to with the music. And if she's standing, I hope she kicks the shit out of him. Oh yeah, I can rock to this 100%. What a great song.
You know what else makes it a great song?
What?
Taxman.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I can see
Just
that.
listen to the bass line and the guitars. And I have no problem with that at all. It's a great song. I mean, the Bangles used it. The Jam used it for their song Start. It's just a great hook. But my thing was Debbie. She's got it bad for this guy who apparently is some sort of chick magnet. She sings, the girls are pretty, the girls are many, but your heart is empty. And I think, is that sarcastic? Like, yeah, too bad for you. But our Debbie is going to wait in line like a target. Or is she? Because she says, I don't want to waste my time waiting for some guy to change his mind.
I think we're getting to the point where her frustration is building enough that, by the end of the song, she's like, you know what? See ya.
Yeah, because my thing was, Debbie, time to acknowledge and move on.
Yep. Next track, Want You. We get these heavenly vocals making us think, oh, it's going to be a sweet love song. But then the music kicks in and we
Rage!
fucking rage. That's bullshit. Sorry, I was thinking of Big Mouth. And we realize this song is being sung by an addict. And who is she addicted to? Him. And it's bad. She's twisting and crying in her bed and she hates herself and how she looks, which... that's brutal. And the song ends without any musical resolution. Just notes abruptly ending around halfway through the song. And you feel what she must have felt when this guy left her life all of a sudden. There's so much desperation in the singer's voice that you don't want her to end up with this person. You want her to get help because she's losing her mind. She's having a meltdown. And honey, he's not worth it. Unsettling, but maybe a good wake-up call for some people who just can't get over that one low life. Like, what was that one song we talked about from our last episode where this guy could not get the hell over this woman and he was having a meltdown and losing his mind? It was a song on the last episode because we talked about that a little bit.
Not Young Girl, Get Out of My Mind.
That might have been it.
The Union Gap.
Yeah, but he's a pedophile, so...
Okay.
Anyway, Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, so as bad as Debbie had it in I'm in Line, her sister Vicky's got it worse in this one.
Way worse.
Yep, cannot get this guy out of her head. Oh, no. Sorry, had to throw in the yellow there.
It's okay.
Can't sleep, can't eat, hates herself because he doesn't like her looks, which...
Ouch.
Not good.
Not good.
She's obsessed, and, I think at one point, we've all been there. Guilty. We're like, oh my God, why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? Come on.
And then you look back and like, oh my God, they were so not worth it.
Yeah, that happened to me once where like years and years later, in the middle of the night, I will never forget it. I woke up and thought, oh my God, what the hell was I thinking? And I just went back to sleep.
Was it a nightmare or something?
No, I don't know what caused it. It just was one of those middle of the night revelations.
Were you with Mom at the time?
No,
Oh,
no,
this is before Mom.
This
Okay.
was years before, yeah. Okay, so we've all been there, and it's tough to tell that person who's going through this that they need to move on because they are just not gonna listen.
Because it sucks.
Mm-hmm. And Vicky sings like a woman possessed, and the band rises to that occasion. And this would be the end of side 1 on the EP.
Okay, kids, time to turn the record over.
Flip.
Next track, Mary Street. This is the kind of makeover sequence I wish we got in the movies, where you don't change the girl's personality entirely, looking at you, Breakfast Club in Grease. Rather, you bring her out of her shell and inspire her to start living, instead of letting life and men pass her by. Think more Princess Diaries. But I think what I love more than the lyrics are those harmonies as the girls sing "What Are You Waiting For?" because they sound so good every time. And I think I know what Mary Street was waiting for these girls to come into her life and inspire her. Great motivational song for a wallflower.
Huh. That's interesting.
What?
All this time, I never took Mary Street as being the name of the girl that they're singing to. I just thought it was They All Live on Mary Street.
Oh, I thought that was the name of the girl. Sorry.
Wow, no, I like that. That makes total sense. And it only took me 38 years to
Learn something new every day on this show, folks.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Old dog, new trick. Anyway, it's Suzanne and Vicky on vocals. And, well, this is going to sound stupid now. They know this girl who lives on Mary Street, and I'm sticking with that. She seems to be shut in her room and is never going to leave, just experiencing the world through her books. She's got no tears for the guys who passed her by, the girls who shut her out. Oh, but they'll be sorry someday. They all will. I kind of looked at it like that. But there's still, Suzanne and Vicky are telling her, nah, you just kind of need to get out of your head and get out into the world and get out of your house, get onto Mary Street and experience life. And musically, it's very pleasant, and it just has this vibe of like, I just picture everyone's dancing down Mary Street. Well, everyone but one.
Uh-oh.
The girl that they're trying to convince.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm sticking with my view of it is because here in East Providence, we don't have Mary Street, but we have Mary Avenue, which crosses John Street.
Oh.
And you get the intersection of Mary Avenue and John Street.
Very
John, Mary, they met in the middle. And then there was a car accident.
The end.
Yep.
Next track. How is the air up there?
That's pretty good.
Have you ever had a loved one get suddenly all hoity-toity and too big for their britches? Well, that's what this song is about. Specifically with this singer's father and her boyfriend. And she asks them, how's the air up there? And because we just watched it, it reminded me of one of the most recent episodes of Dairy Girls where Erin's ma goes to her school reunion and she and her friends have preconceived notions of Jenny's ma who married a surgeon who doesn't talk.
And it was his fault.
It was all his fault. This is why I don't talk. Oh, okay. I don't think I'd be able to listen to this song without getting irked about someone in my life. But this would be a good song to send to someone whose ego is getting a bit too large and you want to deflate their head a little bit. Just enough pissed offness in the guitar playing to get it to come across.
For me, it seems like Vicky has a frenemy here. Miss High and Mighty won't associate with Vicky, which leads her to ask the musical question, how is the air up there? Anyway, Miss Snoot's friends don't know what to make of Vicky, but we know they don't approve. But Vicky does offer an olive branch of sorts. When you get tired of your lonely life in high society, get some kicks and take a trip and come on down with me. Musically, it reminds me a little bit of Bo Diddley's Who Do You Love? It just has that diddly beat about it. There was just one of his songs where I thought, I know I should know what it is, but for some reason, Who Do You Love came out. So maybe it's that, could be another one. And that was the EP, and just really solid really solid songs.
Next track,
Nice start.
Outside Chance. Okay, there's a couple of covers on this. Dad had me listen to, for this track, the original version by the Turtles and the Bangles cover. And honestly, they're both good for very different reasons. The guys sound mentally checked out and bored, very laissez-faire, yet amused. The girls sound pissed and closed off, and more reluctant to let this person try. Both versions tell the story of someone who isn't willing to let their boundaries down, and we see two different reactions with these covers. They are so musically similar, it's just different interpretations with the singers, although the Bangles do have a kick-ass harmonica solo. I don't think I've ever said that both the cover and its original were equally good for different reasons, so I say, listen to both and you'll be happy either way.
I'm pretty sure that was Annette who played the harmonica.
Okay, very good job.
All right, so this and the next three songs are 1981 demos. Like you said, the Turtles did Outside Chance originally, but this wasn't the Weenie Weenie Happy Together Eleanor Turtles. This song was tough enough to make it onto Rhino's Nuggets box set, which is 60s garage rock and psychedelia at its finest. Highly, highly recommended. And I thought the Bangs, at the time, do an admirable job. Vicky sings lead. More on her in a minute.
Next track, Steppin' Out. My first thing I wrote was, With My Baby? I thought that was what the cover was going to be. I was like, okay, well, why not?
Nope.
Once again, we have two very similar covers, but unlike the previous track, for Steppin' Out, I like the Bangles version way better. Let me tell you why.
Tell me why.
The Bangles sound pissed off and betrayed, absolutely heartbroken. Paul Revere sounds like a wife beater, and I'm more scared of him because the visual I had was a big muscly guy taunting me and pinning me in a corner with no escape. So for the women and the she-theys out there, maybe don't listen to the original version if you dated an abuser or a toxic guy in your past. Go with the Bangles instead because the emotion in that one is more multidimensional than this guy whose ethos seems to be, I will beat your ass. Easier on the ears and less triggering for the brain.
I have never gotten that impression all the times I've heard the Paul Revere and the Raiders song.
Yeah, well.
For me, it's just a great primal performance by them. Mark Lindsay's singing is one for the ages. Anyone who can make the word hand into a two-syllable word is a genius in my book.
Still scares me.
This is also on the Nuggets box. And again, the Bangs do a good job. The song's set up. Vicky had to leave town because of Uncle Sam's deal. Either she was drafted or she dodged it. Doesn't specifically say. It's up to the listener to decide. Anyway, she gets back only to find her guy was stepping up on her. And Vicky is not putting up with that. No, not her. So Vicky sings lead on these two nuggets, and she's the perfect She's the perfect choice because to me, she has one of the great rock and roll voices. She can kick your ass with her voice, but she's also versatile. She's not a one-trick pony. If you want to hear other, I guess, settings for her voice, check out Return Post on the Different Light album, where she's just like very, very cool. And Make a Play for Her Now on Everything, which is just an achingly sad vocal.
Next track, The Real, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes, The Real World, Call on Me. Okay, I don't see the point of having demos on a CD because I can't tell the difference when I split up my listening across a few days. I did notice more pronounced background vocals this time with one of the girls almost sounding like a guy, but in my opinion, demos should be on separate discs like bonus features of a movie are on disc 2. That way the hardcore fans can listen to them over and over again while the rest of us can listen to the regular tracks.
Well, see, that's the thing about this collection. It is for the hardcore fans. Basically, it just gathered up all the stuff that was hard to find and then threw in like extra unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
So people like me were like, yes! But yeah, didn't we already hear this song and talk about it?
Yeah.
This could be our demo for their demo. And I gotta be honest, I'm not much for demos. I'd rather hear the finished version 99% of the time. And I mean, I know there are those out there who want to hear all the Beatles or whoever's demos to track the song's progress. Like,
to be fair, you have the Escher demos upstairs.
but I've only listened to them once.
Oh, okay.
And that's, I think, yeah, I'm pretty good with just, the finished White Album.
The White Album is oof. It's hard to listen through all the way as it is. I love the Beatles, but I'm sorry, some of it is harder than others.
If I listen to that, I'm going on the whole journey.
Honey Pie, anyone?
Hey, Anyway. Okay, so anyway, that's just not me, like, having to listen to every single demo. I mean, I don't have a problem with demos, but for me, it's not the be-all and end-all. However, the only time I have ever heard a demo outdo its finished product version is That's Entertainment by The Jam on their Snap collection. And they even said that they put on that demo on that best of because it had a certain quality that was never captured again. And if you listen to the demo and you listen to the finished version, oh my God, that demo is unbelievable.
We'll do the Jam one day on here. We have to.
Right. And this demo is okay. Final version is better. I guess the point of demos is like you put it down and like, okay, this is the bare bones. This is what we're starting with. What can we do with this?
Yeah, it's the rough draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, is Call on Me demo the next track?
Yeah.
Okay. This one sounds more echoey than the original, and it sounds a bit more like the singer is taunting you with the tone of her voice. I had no interest in it. It did nothing for me. What do you got?
Yeah, again, it's okay. The final version, I think, though, is way better. But, that's what demos are. Like you said, it's kind of like, it's the rough draft. Sometimes it's interesting to see where it goes, and sometimes it's like, okay, just tweak it. That's fine.
Next, Tell Me, live. I don't think I should be surprised that they sound as good live as they do on their album, but I am. This song is for those of us who wasted so much time pining over the wrong guy and finally realizing he's a piece of crap. And when he comes back begging for forgiveness, we are done. It's the classic. He won't realize what a good person he had until they're long gone. And she is happy in the knowledge knowing that he'll suffer for his stupidity, and his level of suffering will be way more than hers. Good for you, girls.
Okay, the original version of this song is on all over the place, and this live version is very solid. The band cuts looser than they did in the studio when David Conner was producing. He did a good job on that album, but Different Light was too fussy in spots. Right after Different Light, the Bangles did a version of Simon & Garfunkel's Hazy Shade of Winter for the Less Than Zero soundtrack. Rick Rubin produced it, and I wish he had produced a whole album with them because he really got them.
Next track?
Oh, yes.
7 and 7 is. Now if we're doing addition, that's 14. If we're doing multiplication, that's 49.
Well, I'll tell you why it was called 7 and 7.
I do like the opening lyrics about when you're a kid pretending to be a grown-up. For me, that was pretending I was smoking with my breath in the winter.
Everyone does that.
Rolling up a receipt to look like a cigarette in between my fingers. Yep. And drinking grape juice out of a wine glass. Which I still do. Anyway, so I guess for this, the Bangles go hard rock. And I don't like it on them. It feels like they're trying to do a cover equivalent to that punk cover of These Boots Are Made for Walking we discussed in our Nancy Sinatra episode. And what I hear is them slurring their words and trying to keep the tempo fast. As for the original, which Dad had me listen to, it's way better. The musicians are on point, and I can understand what the vocalist is saying, and it takes you on a musical ride with a fast tempo, then an explosion, and a détente at the end with the mellow electric guitar. Man, I guess we found the turd in the punch bowl with the Bangles. I can't believe they made this song a turd. And it's not because they're girls singing a song written for aggressive men. No, it's just not the right girl group or the right group of girls to cover it. Get Joan Jett. She'd kick this song's ass. Man, what a total 180 going from, why did so many bands cover this song to, oh, I get why now.
Okay. Yep, this is live, as you said, and it's another Nuggets box track. The band Love, yes, they call themselves Love because...
It's the 60s.
Thank you.
What are you going to do?
They did it first, and it's a great garage rock song. I love it so much. Great drumming, and I love how it totally changes at the end after the explosion sound effect. It just transforms from proto-punk to a peaceful blues. But love suckered me with this song, though, because I picked up their alleged classic album, Forever Changes,
Uh-oh.
expecting a whole album's worth of 7 and 7 is. And what did I get?
Crap?
Yeah, I got Sub Moody Blues. Everyone always gives the Moody Blues a hard time for their music, but for some reason, love gets a free pass for some reason, and the Moody Blues do this stuff way, way better.
What was it? Was Il Divo who did a cover of Nights in White Satin? Those tenors that Mom likes to listen to?
Maybe?
Yeah, they did Notte de Luce.
Okay,
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason that it's called 7 and 7 is Arthur Lee, who wrote the song, was born, I believe it was March or May 7th, and a woman that he was dating at the time, born on the same day. So 7 and 7 is us together.
Oh.
Anyway, you're gonna disagree with me, but I think the band nailed it.
Yeah.
Especially with Debbie on the drums. I just wish they would do the slow blues part at the end. And if you want to give them a second chance, there's a version that they did in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And they have both Susanna and Vicky singing lead on it. And I think they do a great job. That's just me.
I'm good. Next track, No Mag Commercial. I want more bands writing original songs for commercials. We never see that. I think the only one I saw that came close was this commercial Me TV aired that Petula Clark did for Chevrolet with a cover of The Beat Goes On that she did just for them. But yeah, if capitalism insists on making me fall for its spectacle and shiny objects, then it's gonna have to work at making me a mindless consumer. And by working at it, I mean forcing singers to write pop hits for money that I'll be singing over and over. No more custom jingles. I want full-blown tracks, damn it. Very interesting that they included this on the CD, but I'm not mad at all.
Okay, this is from the Radio Tokyo tapes, which I have the vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the bangs for Nomag magazine. So yeah, they took Getting Out of Hand and turned it into a commercial for Nomag, which was an 80s LA punk magazine. They only put out 14 issues from 1978 to 1985.
Wow.
And you can find some of the issues for sale or auction on eBay. The line Susanna sings, Pop Trash Noise Music Nancy Reagan, is taken from the cover of a 1982 issue. Yours for only $150 on eBay.
Oof.
See, and I like doing stuff like this because, I'd hear that line and I thought, that makes no sense whatsoever. But then when I did research on Nomag, I found the cover and I thought, so that's where they got it from.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so they were just, trying to help promote this local LA magazine that apparently just came out whenever they had the money to put it out.
What a good thing to do. Next track, our final track, the Rock and Roll Alternative Program theme song. I read the word alternative and I panicked at first.
I know.
Because I was like, Dad, tell me we're not doing 90s alternative rock. Please no, please no. It's not. But hey, this is a good theme song. And I wish radio stations or people in general just played it more for fun without having to be a theme song, because it's a rock song and it gets you headbanging with the guitar playing. The simple chorus and those awesome screams and cheers that make you want to party, and those woos are particularly impressive as she progressively sings notes that are higher and higher and higher. I was kind of bummed when it ended, but that little musical blip was the perfect way to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rock and Roll Alternative was a radio program from 1977 to 1991, hosted by George Jamark. In spring 1977, he started the weekly show called Punkin' New Wave on University of North Texas radio station KNTU. Mm-hmm. It moved to Dallas in 1980 on station KZEW-FM, The Zoo. And you can find archived episodes on vocalnow.com, and that's VOKAL, not VOCAL.
Because of the K radio station.
So, yeah, vocalnow.com. Mm-hmm. And the band just tears it up on this song. It's happening at the Zoo, KZEW. And then they spend 2 minutes, the rest of the song, singing Rock and Roll Alternative over and over and over, getting wilder and wilder, especially Susanna.
And it works.
She can scream. It's great stuff. It works. It's one of those where I just feel it ends too soon.
And that's how the album ends.
It kind of does, yeah.
Overall, the Bangles are pretty fun and I had a good time. Would I listen to all their stuff? Nah, but I could see myself dancing to a couple of tracks or jamming if they came on in the car, depending. These ladies are very talented and know how to make hits. It's just whether or not these hits are your particular taste of music. Some of them were for me, and I'll listen to those over and over. But as for the rest, I'll pass.
Being the Bangles fan that I am so glad they came out with this disc. And for me, it was a perfect roundup of all the hard to find early stuff. And it's like, if you're a fan, you already have this. If not, it's a good place to start at the beginning. Then proceed to All Over the Place, Different Light, everything. And then after that, you're on your own.
And maybe if you're a first-time listener, skip the demos the first time around.
And ladies, if you're out there listening, how about another compilation? Because we need to have one place we can go to that has I've Got Nothing, Hazy Shade of Winter, Where Were You When I Needed You, the California version of Manic Monday, which I first heard on WBRU. I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. And then I picked up the Different Light album and I'm wondering, why does this sound different than from what they were playing on WBRU? And then I found out,
oh no,
because it was an import and I was able to track down the import. Pre-internet, gang, just going through different record stores and I found it. Plus there's like other stuff, the Austin Powers song and other stuff that I'm just remembering. We need it all in one place.
Alright, as always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, because remember, the more you interact with the video, the more views we get.
Thank you.
And if you follow me on social media, I post the episodes to Twitter and Instagram and to the My Dad Listens to This Tumblr blog, which might be how we post most of our episodes if Twitter keeps going the way it's going with Elon. My dad owned an emerald mine during apartheid Musk. And if you're friends with my dad, just tell him what episode you want to listen to, and he can email it right to your inbox. As always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. We'll be back next time with another tribute for another musician who, if you've been paying attention to the news, you probably know who it is. But we'll be back next time with that. Dad, is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles! Oh, no, wait, sorry.